Hi, and welcome to Lunch with Lisa. And today, we're going to talk about some transformation. It's Lunch with Lisa. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I cook quick and easy healthy meals, the same meals that I use to go from this to this in just 4 months. I lost 33 pounds. So I wanted to share with you the recipes I use to take the weight off and the recipes I continue to make to keep the weight off. And today I'm going to take a break from cooking and answer some of your burning questions about my transformation. You may have seen some of my short videos that show my dramatic weight loss in 2021. I started at 148 pounds and ended at 115 pounds. Now I've put some of the weight back on, but I'm still fitting in the clothes that I was fitting into at 115. I've just changed my composition. So my body composition has changed in that I've been gaining more muscle and gaining a little bit of my weight back. But what is weight, right? One of my viewers reached out and asked if I would make a video talking about my transformation. So that's what we're doing today. And I asked him, well, what did you want to know? What do you want to know? And he gave me a huge list of stuff. So I'm going to go through it one by one and I'll answer those questions. Yeah. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm having my mud water here. I have decided to cut back on my caffeine intake. And so during the day, if I need a little boost, especially in the afternoon, like right now it's around 2 p.m., I will drink some of this mud water. It's pretty good. It's not sweet at all. So I add a little sweetener and I add a little bit of some creamer, but I don't use cream. I use the nut pods. They're good stuff. I'll leave a link down below. You can buy some nut pods yourself. So I have some notes right here on my iPad. What was my motivation to start? Let's just say I was tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of being overweight. I'd been overweight my whole adult life. I started in high school gaining weight. And I remember at 17 going to the gym and working out and losing weight, but just kind of trimming down and not really getting to where I ever wanted to be. But I know that my diet was totally off. Back then, fat was the problem. So you stayed away from fat, you ate tons of carbs and sugar and whatever you wanted to eat. Like, I remember going over to one of my friends' houses and just pigging out on strawberry fig Newtons. Those were my favorite. I would eat the whole bag, which brings me to the first thing on my list was I just ate all the time. So I overate. I ate a ton of food. So my motivation to start losing weight was I wanted to be 40 and fabulous. So I turned 40 in 2020, and I said to myself 2 years before that I was gonna start working towards being 40 and fabulous. In 2019, I lost 25 pounds doing a diet called the 2-week diet. Don't recommend, unless you want to get hyped up on caffeine and nicotine gum. That's what they recommend to do. So I did it because I was at my wit's end. I wanted to just try a program and do it. And I did their workouts. I walked every day. I ended up losing 25 pounds. I was also doing intermittent fasting and starving myself the day before weigh-in, and would drop 5 pounds. And then right when I ate the next day, I would gain it all back. And so I was hovering around 140, 141, and that's what I weighed in high school. So I was like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm at my high school weight. But remember back in high school, I was overeating and I had a little muffin top and, I wasn't at my best. After I lost the 25 pounds, I tried to keep eating well, and I was staying away from a ton of sugar, trying to steer clear of too much alcohol or whatever. Old habits are hard to die, and without any support, I was just doing it all on my own. I gravitated back to old habits. I was doing what was quick and easy. I was cooking food for my child, so why not just make twice as much and eat it too, even if it was like ramen noodles or things like spaghetti, just really quick and easy stuff. I love to make quick and easy food. That's why I love to make it healthy now, healthy versions of quick and easy food. Why not, right? And previously, I had tried so many diets. I did P90X. I did the whole program. I did all the eating right, and I did the 3 months of working out. And I lost quite a bit of weight, but I was like, tough, whatever. And didn't ever get results though. Like my before pictures were just the same as my after pictures, but my after pictures I could like flex and suck in a little more. So those before and afters you see of people, you know, working out to get thin, unless you notice a significant change in their arms or their legs or their face, their neckline, then they're probably just sucking in because they're pushing out in their first picture. So you see like a big tummy, and then you see abs in the next picture, and that's just them flexing. Like they're standing like this in the first picture, putting their tummy out, and then in the next one they're flexing with their abs showing. Y'all, don't fall for that BS. I can see right through those because you gotta look at the whole body. If nothing else has changed on them, just their tummy, they're sucking in and they're pushing out. Don't fall for that. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't really have a support system. So along comes my friend, and she started a program and lost weight at the same time I did in 2019. But as my weight was creeping right back up to 150, she was keeping her weight off. So I reached out to her eventually. It took me 2 years, but I finally reached out to her and realized, hey, I want what you have. And so I signed up to do Optavia. And Optavia was my gateway to drop the weight really fast and educate myself. And then find the confidence to make this channel and share with you how I make quick and easy healthy meals so that I could inspire so many more people to just change one thing for themselves. If they just changed how they cooked dinner, and then one habit at a time, as they see results doing that one change, then you want to add another thing, and then another, and then another, and then another. And then who knows, like in 2 years, you're healthy. Like what? So one habit at a time, one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. That is my first tip. That was a long answer to my motivation, but that was a selling point for me. I wanted to be 40 and fabulous, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. And so I leaned on my friend and chose Optavia as my pathway. I didn't know if it was going to work for me. I didn't. I actually didn't think it was going to work for 2 months even. I was like, well, yeah, I lost some weight, but what next? And that's what I loved about this program, is there's always a support net for the next if you show up and ask, what next? What next is figuring out your caloric intake, exercising regularly, and making sure you're moving your body and fueling it correctly. That's it. I mean, it sounds simple, but how many of us do it by ourselves? Or how many of us don't really know what to eat? You know, it's hard to figure out a recipe and stuff like that. My EatWise app is going off. So I have an app that tells me when I need to eat. And I did eat, but I ate at like 2 o'clock instead of 2:30. You program how many meals you want to eat and when you want to eat them, and it will tell you and notify you when it's time to eat so you don't forget to eat. Some of us forget to eat. All right, some of my struggles along the way. There's this thing in Optavia called Stop, Challenge, Choose, and it's amazing. It's this really cool technique to use when you notice that you're falling back into old habits. You create a pause, you stop yourself, you challenge what you're doing by saying, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And really kind of processing through what's going on. And then you choose a healthier option. It's that simple. And if you incorporate that into your daily life, just when you're trying to make a change, it takes a while to build a habit, right? So you're gonna fall back into old ways. There's no problem about that. You just stop what you're doing. Once you realize that you're doing something that you don't want to continue doing, you challenge it and say, nope, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you choose a healthier option. You always have to replace the old pattern with a new pattern. You can't just take out something. You have to put something back in, or you're going to put back in that old pattern in that place, because you're going to have this empty hole of something you used to do and now you don't do that anymore. Like quitting smoking. What are you going to do? What are you going to replace that with? A lot of people replace it with eating. So don't do that. Choose something that's a little bit healthier, right? Right? Say that a lot. So another struggle I had was boredom. So I had all my meals planned out for the day. I would wake up, eat, and then every 2 to 3 hours after that, I would eat 5 more times. But in between those times, I sometimes felt hungry. So So I had to challenge myself. Why was I feeling hungry? I would find myself at my refrigerator looking for food, and I had to stop and say, okay, am I bored? Am I having an emotion? Do I need to process something? What's going on? And that's when I saw that food had been in the way of having so many breakthroughs in my life, because I would just come to the kitchen and eat instead of facing my fears, facing my hurts, healing my wounds, or just plain doing what I need to do instead of procrastinating. It's really interesting when you're making a change like that and really changing your habits. It's interesting to sit back and look at what it was that you were doing and why. What was your motivation behind that? And that was one of my struggles just in general, was changing my habit of just eating all day long, because I was trying to, not look at something. But that was also because I worked at home. When I didn't work at home, it was a little bit easier to not eat all day long, but I would still come home from work and then eat all evening long. So, as long as I was at home, it was in my face and I was eating it. And I still struggle with that today. Honestly, that is going to be a long time for me to kind of cure, because it's only been a year since I started my health journey. So it's going to take a little while to install these new habits permanently. But I work at it every day, and I just correct myself, stop, challenge, choose myself all the way through it. It's awesome. And then when I can't do it myself, I have an accountability partner that I can lean on. And then I have a community I can go lean on too and celebrate my wins and losses. And I have multiple communities, actually. Recently, I gave up alcohol, and I started my own little community on Facebook and have all my close friends in there, and we just support each other who are choosing not to drink alcohol or to at least cut back. So that's been really amazing. I also have another support group where we just share a bunch of funny memes. So it's just creating little support groups around yourself of like-minded people helps so much, especially when you have goals and things that you want to do. You become like the people you spend the most time with. So surround yourself with some people that you want to become like. That's all I got to say. Don't spend your time with people who you look at and you're like, I don't want to be that. Get rid of those people if you can. Or spend less time with them and find some good quality, amazing people that you're like, I want to be like that. And go spend time with those people. Third question, what are your food habits now versus what they were then? Now versus then. Then, I ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted to. Didn't really limit myself too much, except I just tried to stay away from high carb, refined carbs, and sugar. Although I would tell myself, oh, it's just a little bit. Or, oh, it's high in fat, it's fine. I don't know what I would just eat. I didn't really know how much I was eating, and I just kind of knew what was good and what was bad, what to stay away from, what to do, but I wasn't keeping track. Now I eat 6 meals a day about every 2 to 3 hours, and I know how much I'm eating. I eat about 100 to 400 calories per meal, depending on which meal it is. So throughout the day, I don't really super calorie count, but I just know. I know what the food has in it. I know what to stay away from. And I know what I can add in. If I've worked out really hard that day, I know I can eat a little bit more. You just kind of got to gauge how much do you want to weigh, and then you got to set your calorie count to that. If you're trying to maintain, if you're trying to lose, you got to lower your calorie intake and know you're going to be hungry. And then if you want to gain, you just have to eat more. It's just simple math. Calories in versus calories out. But there's also the macros you got to think about. So that's why I like about my program, we have this thing called your plate. And that's why I talked about in another one of my videos, the 9-inch plate, and then how to split that up with your fruits and veggies and your meats and your grains. All right, next one, meal prepping. Do I meal prep for the week, or do I make it as I eat? Well, I'm gonna say yes and no. I do a little of both. So sometimes I will carve out a few hours if I have some hours on the weekend and I have a bunch of food and I have some recipes I wanna make. I will make them ahead of time and pack them away in the fridge so that I have those ready to go and eat them. And that sets me up for some huge wins because I don't always have time to cook throughout the week. And it really is kind of a pain to remember. My clock is going off telling me to eat, but I need to eat now, not in 30 minutes or an hour after I cook it, right? So definitely meal prepping is so key to keeping yourself on track. And if you cannot meal prep, I suggest finding a way to buy some healthy meals. Maybe do one of those boxes that show up with a bunch of meals that you can make, and then you can easily make all of those really fast and save them for later, or make them as you go. Or you can use this really cool website that I found called eatthismuch.com, and you can go there and plan out your meals. But I've been using it to plan out my meals. You can plan out your macros, you can plan out your calories, you can plan out your shopping list. It's so great. Love this app. Go check it out. Link is down below. And if I can get a discount for you guys, I will, because that's how cool I am. And I'll put it right next to the link if I'm able to do that. That would be awesome. Okay, now that leads me to the next question. Do I count calories? I do, and I don't. I'm just being mindful about how much is in servings, and I have it listed on my refrigerator so I can remember and memorize it as I go. So I know about how many calories I'm eating. Do I know it down to like the calorie? No. But I know that I want to eat around 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day, depending on how much I've worked out. And that's for maintenance and muscle building. But if I'm trying to lose weight, I have to scale back. So it's really about getting to know your portion sizes and how many calories they are per portion size. And it's about knowing how many calories your body burns. So let's do that real quick. How much do you weigh? Let's multiply that by 11. That's how many calories your body burns just sitting still, not doing a thing. Now, if you work out, I want you to multiply that number that you just got. If you work out light, multiply it by 1.2. If you work out moderately, multiply that by 1.5. If you work out heavy, multiply that by 1.7. Now, that's how many calories you should be eating just to maintain your weight. If you want to lose your weight, you're going to have to cut back at least 500 calories a day from that. And that'll put you in a caloric deficit. And you can lose quite a bit of weight from that. But I'm going to tell you, if you're trying to lose weight by working out, you're going to be really hungry. And that was my issue whenever I would do these programs that used a lot of working out, HIIT programs or weights at the gym. I would be starving and I would always overeat. And so I would just negate all my workout. Right when I would get home, I'd just eat way too much probably. So just know when you're working out to lose weight, you're going to be hungry, and that's okay. It's just a feeling, right? Let it pass. Drink more water. Oh, that is key also, is to drink a ton of water. Not only does it take up space in your stomach, but to lose weight, you do kind of need to like flush some stuff out of your system. So drinking at least a gallon a day when you're in weight loss is a great idea. Now, after weight loss, that might be a little excessive. So I've scaled back a lot from like 64 to 72 ounces a day. You want to shoot for half your body weight in water, and 64 ounces is a little bit much for me. It's over half my body weight. So, and that brings me to my fitness plan. Now, you really only need to work out maybe every day. But what are you doing? Like for me, I walk at least 5,000 extra brisk steps in the morning every day and get that in as soon as possible. By the end of the day, I walk usually around 10 to 15,000 steps. So somewhere in that ballpark. And that's great just for maintaining your weight loss. And then you want to build muscle, because the more muscle you have, the more you can eat and it not turn into fat. So muscle is important for your body composition, and that will add some weight, and that's okay. Like, it's just the gravity's pull in your body. You'll be fine. You can weigh a little bit more. Weightlifting at least 2 times a week, upper body once a week, lower body once a week. Hey, that'll help you maintain your weight loss too as you build that muscle, and you don't have to build it super fast. But if you want to go in the gym and lift heavy and do all that stuff, by all means, just make sure you're fueling your body. You don't want to be hypoglycemic. That don't feel good. I did it once. It's not good. Make sure you're getting enough protein and enough complex carbs, low in fat, because you want to do the low in fat because it's so calorie dense. And the more calories you eat, the more your body wants to store them for later. All right, in a pinch, what's my go-to fast food? I don't go to fast food in a pinch, honestly. I plan ahead. I mean, that's kind of the goal here, is to plan ahead. Like, you're learning how to take care of yourself. So plan ahead. Like, whenever I go out of town or go anywhere, I have snacks with me all the time. Snacks that I know that are nutritious and good for me and that I can rely on. And then at least I know if I get hungry, I have something. Or if my alarm goes off going, you need to eat, I have a snack. Boom, done, easy. So portability is good too when you're looking for snacks to bring. Like, even just one of those little bags of almonds, perfect for on the go. What my son and I do when we're traveling, of course I pack the car with fresh fruit and veggies and snacks and some protein and stuff like that, but we like to stop at places like Buc-ee's or gas stations. They always have some kind of fresh food option there. A sandwich, some fresh fruit, veggies, something. So you just gotta watch it, right? You just gotta watch it. Make sure you're being mindful about the things that cross your mouth. So one thing I did when I was losing weight was I wrote all of it down. And sometimes I go back and I do that when I'm noticing my scale going up, because I weigh myself once a week just to maintain, to know where I'm at, so I can get out ahead of it if the weight starts creeping back on, and I can be like, whoa, Lisa, let's see, what have you been doing? And that's when I'll write everything down, pay attention, and when I'm like being accountable to myself like that, I clean up my act pretty fast. It's pretty funny how that works. I mean, in a pinch too, you could do a burger, but take the bun off and ask for extra lettuce. Stuff like that, super easy to do. Like salad bowls and stuff like that. Just do it with the dressing on the side. Don't let them put dressing all over it, because that is gonna blow you out of the water with the caloric count of all that oil. Yeah, and there's all types of like protein bars you can bring with you. Quest bars, Built bars. Optavia has a ton of options that I love. Next question. Almost at the end. Yeah, okay, so this is the second to last question. Do I have any struggles maintaining my weight loss? Well, of course. I'm like fighting against myself and all my old habits, but guess what? I have all these new habits I've installed, and so I can start remembering, okay, what was it that I was doing? If my old habits start creeping up and my scale starts creeping up, I can go, okay, slow down, let's stop, let's reassess, let's start reading the material again, reminding myself what I'm doing here. And the main thing I do is, what do I want to create? What do I want more than I want food? I desire to be healthy and thin and feel good in my body. When I catch myself going for the cookie dough, I can stop eventually. When I see it affecting me, I can be like, okay, maybe it's time to stop that and let's move on to our new habits again. And lots of hot tea, lots of hot drinks, especially in the wintertime, kind of fills my stomach up. Stuff that isn't gonna be high in calories that I can drink, sip on, lots of water. Definitely have to watch it because I do work out now. I do get hungry, so I have to make sure I eat before and after my workouts, or at least after my workouts, so that I know that I'm fueling my body and I'm not gonna be starving later on or give myself a headache, because I've noticed that's a problem. If I don't eat right away after I work out, I can start getting a headache. It's not good. My main struggle is, one of them was putting the weight back on and feeling like I was failing. But hello, 5 pounds of fat looks like this. But then 5 pounds of muscle looks like this. So 5 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. You do the math. Like, I'm okay if I'm putting on 5 pounds of muscle versus 5 pounds of fat, because that's going to be a huge difference. Like, the fact that I can still gain like 10 pounds and still fit in all my clothes, I know my body composition has changed, but in my head, I'm like, oh no, I've gained 10 pounds. So that's kind of a struggle with me. It's just realizing that the whole weight issue is not really an issue when I'm working out and taking care of myself and eating right. I'm putting muscle on. That's great. That means I'll be able to eat more and still burn the food that I eat. How cool is that? All right, the last question. What kind, if any, cheat meals do I eat? There are no cheat meals. Sorry to say, there's no cheating in the game of life. You're just doing it or you're not. So you're either eating for health or you're eating for something else. And you just gotta identify what that is and what you're doing and mindfully choose it, powerfully choose it. Like sometimes I want a damn cookie. So I'm gonna go to my freezer and pull out the amazing cookie dough I made using Brian Lagerstrom's really amazing recipe. I'll link that down below if you want it. Oh no, I'm not gonna link it. Y'all can go find it if you really want it. I'm not gonna make it easy on you. So his cookies are amazing, but I did swapped out sugar for some monk fruit sugar sweetener. So the monk fruit sweetener has no calories versus the sugar has a lot of calories. But I didn't swap up the flour, so the flour is all still in there and it's so delicious. And y'all, I eat them frozen. But I know that I'm like, I want to eat this. I'm either like trying to comfort myself, or I'm bored, or I just want to taste something really sweet because I'm craving something sweet. You know, I know that I've done the work to get the weight off. I'm doing the work to keep the weight off. And sometimes I choose to eat some things that are not perfect for me. Like some people decide to still drink their alcohol, but it's like choosing when to do it and how much. So you're being mindful about it. Like, I know I'm putting this in my body. Does it serve me? Yes, it serves me because I want some comfort food right now. But you have to mindfully think, is this gonna serve me if I eat this every day? No. So what do you want to create? I want to create health. Okay, so do you need a cookie every day? Probably not. Should I throw those away? Probably. But they're so good. So really nothing is off limits. It's just what you're choosing to do for yourself. That's all it is. Are you choosing health? Are you choosing comfort? Are you choosing your boredom to satisfy your boredom? So you got to make these choices for yourself. It all boiled down to me wanting to make a change, but not knowing how. Finally finding a program that worked, falling in love with the program because it works so good, like so good, and it educates me so that I know what to do to continue to optimize my health every day. And when I fall off the track, there's no big deal. I just get right back up and make the next healthy choice. What's the next healthy choice I can make? Oh, didn't do it. Let's make another healthy choice. You're always one choice away. So I hope that helped you. I know I could talk about this all day long and I have so much more to say. So if you ever want to chat about this anytime, let me know. If you like what you see, definitely think about supporting me, helping me out, buying me a coffee, coffee.com/lunchwithlisa right here. And if you would like to join my Patreon, you can become a patron. You can watch all my videos a week ahead of time just for $5 a month. You can go to patreon.com/lunchwithlisa. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the flip side. It's Lunch with Lisa. Thanks for tuning in. This got cold. I talked a long time. Y'all, this mug is one of my favorite mugs. It's made by this awesome lady named Vanessa. I will leave her link down below too so you can check out her website. Look at this rainbow. It's my favorite. I love rainbows. And it's got like little white clouds on it. It's so beautiful. I'm kind of like I make ceramics too. And I kind of like to buy everybody's mugs. So one, I can compare mine to them. And two, I don't know, I'm just kind of obsessed with mugs and how awesome and unique and different they all can be with these awesome ceramic artists. Yeah, I don't know if I have any bloopers this time, but stay tuned for bloopers. It's kind of in the way. All right. Hi, I'm Lisa, and no, not even. Hi, and welcome to Lunch with Lisa. And today, we're gonna do some talking. I don't fucking know. What you need, babe? Well, I'm filming right now. So you become like the people you spend the most time with, and it's just like, I don't know why I don't have another camera angle over here.